Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a really difficult story out of Indiana.
Yeah, it involves John D. Jessup, who was a Hancock County commissioner.
Right. We've looked at news reports, official records, trying to piece together what happened and, maybe more importantly, what it all means.
It's definitely a case with layers. You have this public official, someone in a position of, trust, and then this incredibly personal violation, the impact on his family, the community. It's significant.
Let's start with his background a bit. Jessup wasn't like a fringe figure. He was a county commissioner.
And president of the Board of Commissioners, too, 2019 and 2022.
Okay, so pretty central. We looked at some meeting minutes, January 2022, January 2024.
Yeah, typical stuff. Budgets, appointments, Board of Finance, Economic Development Council, infrastructure projects, claims.
Standard county business, he was involved.
Deeply involved. Routine functions of local government. He was definitely part of the machinery there in Hancock County.
Okay, then fast forward to January 2023. This trip to Las Vegas.
Yeah, for his daughter Rachel's 21st birthday, should have been a celebration.
But it went sideways. Reports mentioned drinking, gambling at Hurrah's.
And, disturbingly, allegations that Jessup was pushing alcohol on his daughter. Like 3 Long Island iced teas, even when she said she wasn't feeling well.
Wow. And then a visit to a strip club.
Right. She apparently became extremely intoxicated, needed a wheelchair to get back to the hotel room they were sharing.
And that's where the assault allegedly happened.
That's what Rachel reported early hours of January 26th, waking up to find him sexually assaulting her.
The initial police reports mentioned waking up naked, inappropriate touching after passing out.
Correct. Jessup later admitted to touching her, but denied, criminal intent. Claimed she'd put his hand on her breast earlier or something.
Just awful.
Yeah.
So the legal side kicked in.
Arrested in June 2023, held in Shelby County first, then faced charges in Nevada.
And the charge was sexual assault initially.
Yes, but there was a plea agreement. It was reduced to attempted sexual assault. Still a felony, though.
He pleaded guilty to that.
He did. Sentencing was late April 2025.
And the sentence?
6 to 15 years in prison, plus lifetime sex offender registration.
Lifetime.
And a lifetime ban on contacting Rachel, who now goes by Rachel Kiesling, and some other family members.
Did the judge say anything? Or Jessup?
Jessup apparently said something like, "I'm not the same man I was." But the prosecutor's point was stark.
Which was?
That fathers are supposed to protect their kids, not violate them when they're vulnerable. Really cuts to the core of it.
Absolutely. And the impact on Rachel Kiesling.
Yeah.
You mentioned she changed her name.
Yes. She spoke out very powerfully. Said her life feels shattered since that date, January 26th, 2023.
It takes incredible courage to identify yourself publicly like that.
Especially, she said, because her father was still running for office even after being charged.
That's the other really jarring part of this.
Yeah.
He ran for Hancock County Council while these felony charges were pending.
He did. Ran in November 2024 and actually won a seat. Got over 17% of the vote.
How does that happen? There must have been outrage.
Oh, absolutely. Huge public outcry. Lots of reaction online, people questioning how this was possible.
I saw some mentions online linking it to broader political criticisms. The GOP, NGA tag, sometimes came up.
Yes, those connections were definitely made by some commentators online reflecting that political dimension. But fundamentally, it raised questions about voter awareness. Did people know? Or did partisan voting just take over?
Even another commissioner, Spalding, made a statement trying to distance the county, right?
Yeah, indicating the shock and the feeling that officials should be held to a higher standard. It definitely shook public trust.
Questions about vetting, ethics, you name it.
For sure. But ultimately, the law caught up.
Because felons can't hold office in Indiana.
Exactly. So after the guilty plea, he had to resign from that council seat he'd just won.
So looking back at all this, just a terrible example of abuse of power, isn't it?
On multiple levels.
Yeah.
Within his family, that intimate betrayal, and then the way it played out in the political sphere.
The consequences for Rachel are devastating, obviously. And for the community's trust in its leaders. That's got to be damaged.
Deeply. It forces a hard look at accountability, doesn't it? What standards do we actually demand?
Right. And how does a community like Hancock County even begin to process this, to rebuild that trust, especially when politics got tangled up in it?
It's a really tough question. There's the personal healing for the victim, which is paramount, and then this broader community reckoning.
Definitely a lot to think about there. A stark reminder of how badly things can go wrong.